All right, we're live now, so I'd like to greet you once more time. Um, what do you know about Poland? It is my first question, because we all like to pretend that people around the world are very interested in our country.
Well, uh, I've been to Poland a few times. I've gone to some of the major cities. Um, I've had wonderful concerts. I've done some television. Um, Aside from that, I don't know the language at all, but I love the food.
I love the food. They say it is the hardest language in the whole palette of languages. That's what we also
Wow.
tell ourselves.
And I'm sorry, but I'll probably never learn Polish.
Well, yeah, you have a whole your life, so you probably will manage to, when you're 80 or something, you, hey, let's learn some Polish words.
Maybe.
Maybe I would like to ask you firstly about pandemic times, because it is probably something we can't avoid really in any conversation we had through our recent interviews. How did it affected you? How did it affect your creation? How did it affect your life in general?
Wow. Well, it changed a lot about my business. I don't go to travel to do concerts anymore. I stay home and I do concerts from my uh, from my home studio and garage to do live streaming events. So that's one of the major ways that it changed. When it comes to songwriting, I don't go into studios to do songwriting anymore with other people. I do them virtually, on the computer with one person or maybe two or three people at a time. But it's um it's much different than the way I was doing songwriting before. It doesn't change the quality of the song, though. We still come up with really good songs. Um, One of the things that I really appreciate about this time is I get to spend way more moments with my family, and my wife, with my kids. Um, we're getting way closer than we were, and that's it's a good thing because for some people the pandemic has become very difficult if you're at home 24/7 with your family. Um, we find ways to have our own moments by ourselves, but it really has brought me closer to my kids.
And it shows in your latest album, uh, all of
Oh,
everything. I think that this album is something that shows not only maturity for you as an artist, but also the the times that you find yourself within, because this is all about love, of course, but about your relationship, about your marriage, about your kids, and how you find time for them during this probably worst year of the history we know about. But I was wondering during the listening of this album, have you ever thought that this feeling good vibes that you produce will not be such widely accepted in the industry that is so, you know, really contrast, really I like this, I don't like that, really divided. I think that it is something that is probably for the best that this exists. But I wonder if you had any second thoughts while writing this album.
hmm. So while writing this album, I was coming up with many, many, many different ideas and styles and thoughts about what songs I wanted to release. In the end, I wanted to put together an album that expressed love and compassion, togetherness and connection. At first, I thought I was going to write an album about our relationship to technology, and I had a lot of songs that I was putting together. It was sort of a discussion about the dystopian reality of relying on technology and social media Um, but you know, I feel like in the end, I can do that discussion anytime.
Mm.
The thing that I feel like I hadn't done enough was speak about my personal, intimate relationships in my music. And I felt like it was time for me to share that. And if I miss this moment while my kids are this age, then what will it mean to do it later? And will I feel the same way? And that was, you know, a moment where I thought I need this album to serve me
Mm.
as much as it serves my fans. And so in that way, I decided I'm not going to release this other music, these other ideas, these other concepts. I'm going to share this song about the people that I love and the way that I love.
Yeah, and I think it is a really great time to put out an album like that because without this commotion, we really need something to take our head off something really depressing and thinking about love and marriage is this universal qualities. I think is really something else that you don't see in pop or R&B scene these days. Uh, Also, I noticed. I don't know if it is an uncomfortable question for you, but are you a person of faith?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
So I noticed a lot of Christian-like kind of virtues within your songs. Sometimes I didn't know if the lyrical the person who speaks in your songs, an artist, the porte-parole for your artwork, is your wife, or maybe it is a god, because it is really interconnected within it, I think.
Yeah, for me, the spirituality and the faith, it doesn't specifically, I don't subscribe to any particular
Hmm.
uh, faith or religion, but it is very much in the same realm of the monotheistic uh, um, concepts of, you know, Christianity, Judaism, Islam. But then there's a lot of, from me, a lot of respect for Eastern religions and polytheistic practices that are about social morality.
Hmm.
You know, the Shintoism and then the inner peace in Buddhism, and so for me, it's all a big combination of the things that matter the most in those religions. And I find in my music, what I'm sharing is the things that seem to be most important or most connected amongst all of these ideologies and faiths, which is, you know, love unconditionally, um, be kind, do no harm, and these are universal themes. I think they are universal because they cross every ethnicity, nationality, faith.
And I think that it's good because there's some division between pop music or R&B, between sexualizing everything, and on the other hand being really dull and really all about money and all about bling bling and such. So I think probably you are somewhere in the third category that you reserve only for yourself. Uh, I was wondering also when I was reading about you, does your background in psychology is important when you're writing? Do you think it brings something new to your understanding of humanity, or maybe does it help you to better understand yourself?
Well, I don't I don't know that it's part of my songwriting. I studied psychology because I was interested in it. I would not say that I'm an expert in it. And um, when I'm writing songs, it, there could be some of what I've learned in school playing into the way I write songs, but I feel it's more just the way that I've observed life, the way that I experience my uh, my fans, my friends, my community, all of that um, is what I'm responding to, reacting to, projecting in my music. It's, you know, it's not an academic approach at all. Um, I think one of the ways that I do particularly appreciate my studies of psychology is that I recognize in the music industry the psychological themes, the anger, anxiety, hatred, the depression, the sorrow, and those themes that are always present in our media, in music, in television, and film, are very taxing. Those are stressful themes to constantly absorb. And I feel like we absolutely need to take care of ourselves, our mental health, and find ways out of those messages. I'm hoping that my music can be a way out of those messages. You know,
Definitely is. There's some other aspect of your work that I also find interesting, because your music is really, as I put it, complicated. It's not like, dominanta, subdominanta, and dominanta. It's not this really simple, basic structure. It's really jazz influenced, R&B influenced. It's not something that is simplistic. So I was wondering, how was it to work with DJs like Avicii or I forgot, sorry. How was it to produce this popular music? I'm not saying this some is better, some is wrong, but how was it for you as an artist who produce really layered kind of productions to go into something more commercial or pop?
yeah. I enjoy making music that's a roller coaster ride. The way that a roller coaster works is to surprise you at every turn. When it's not surprising anymore, then it's not fun. And I recognize that the more elements you have into a song, the more surprises, the more people can learn something new every time they hear the song. And you have to bury it into the production. You have 5 parts. I like to have a song that has at least 5 parts. You have your verse structure, you have your pre-chorus structure, you have your chorus structure. Those are the 3 that you can count on that will be there. But I like to have maybe a bridge, which will be a 4th section, and maybe some special 5th section. It could be an intro, could be an outro, could be a post chorus. So in I Need a Dollar, we have an intro, we have a chorus and a verse. We have a pre-chorus, but we also have a post-chorus. And that is where, you get special. And if you do your performance different on each part every time it comes back around, it enhances the roller coaster ride. People say, oh, this is familiar. Oh, but I didn't expect this turn. And it's all happening subconsciously. So this is why you can listen to a song like, especially I Need a Dollar. Every 4 bars, something different is happening and nothing is ever the same. And the beauty of using live musicians is that literally nothing is ever the same. If you're using just a computer, copy, paste sounds over and over again, the ear subconsciously, the heart, every fiber in your body will recognize that it's all the same. But if you're doing with live musicians, something different is happening every time. The sound wave is certainly different every single time.
Mhm.
And a listener can appreciate that. The audience can appreciate that.
Yeah, and probably in this rather some more simplistic songs, it's for fun mostly, because it's really fun to sing a big chorus and go at it. Probably, I'm not a singer myself, but this is what I imagine. Of course, there is also this Frank Sinatra part of you that I really enjoy, and I'm wondering because I watched your live at Made concert. It's really popular. I think that it's one of your most popular this live events that people took out and probably ask you the same as I do. But I think that there's this Frank Sinatra vibe, this swing era elegance that is really interesting. And I'm wondering, have you ever considered going in that direction to be like this new Frank Sinatra, new swing guy? Because there is some part of it in your music, but I think you didn't go all the way in that direction.
Yeah, I have an entire project that I've recorded in 2004. I've never released it, and it's very much um, using the voice, the style of Nat King Cole or Frank Sinatra. But it's not those songs. It's a completely different style of song. And I'll introduce it sometime soon, maybe about by the end of the year. Um, this is for me, singing those standards in the way that Sinatra did is quite easy, and I love them. I love those. I love the songs that he sang, and Mel Torme, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. Um, but there's a different way to do it in terms of the music that's around it, and that's what I'm interested in sharing. Something new,
If you could share with us the direction, what are you planning to do with this music, maybe?
I mean, because I'm still in this Aloe Blacc soul singer, pop artist kind of world, I'm thinking of using an alias and doing it differently. Maybe Aloe Blacc Presents, and using a whole new name and concept. But you know, I've been speaking with one of my friends who is a graphic motion graphics designer.
Mhm.
He creates amazing virtual visual worlds, and I want to share with him this music so we can create our music videos and an entire story, visual story to go with the music, because there's an entire story to the music. So it will probably be released as a short film rather than just an album, you know? And so not only will the music be completely new, that no one has ever heard this combination before, but it'll come along with a visual art that will tell the story as well.
Well, intertextuality is always interesting, so I'm looking forward to this. Um, Also, for my last question, probably because we need to wrap it up, as my producer is looking at me really mean. I would like to ask you about your charity work, because you work a lot with malaria foundations around the world. So, what is so precious to you? What is so why is it such a interesting and important problem right now that you decided to put yourself out there and fight this terrible disease?
Wow, yes. I was thinking about the most good that I can do in the world with my voice, with my celebrity. I found that Malaria No More was working hard to change and improve the lives of some of the poorest people who suffer from a disease that certainly can be um, challenged, from a disease that can be cured if we just put enough effort into it. And when I started working with them, a child was dying every 60 seconds. Over just a few years of working with them, they have reduced that rate to half, you know, and that to me is extremely important if we can save lives. I use my voice for many different activities and events, but the impact that we've had in the fight against malaria has been very, very huge. Now, of course, there are new diseases that we must worry about. And it breaks my heart that the attention cannot go to everything all at once. But this pandemic is certainly worthy of our direct focus and attention right now.
Definitely. Thank you for all your good work, and thank you for your amazing music. As you can know, all of everything, you can find it probably everywhere when you listen music. Aloe Blacc was our guest today. Thank you very much for the interview. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye-bye.